Good evening here. Welcome to Atlantic Television Network. It's Sports Extraordinary, and of course, it's that time when we bring you all the latest update in the world of sports. Export Temple is my name. I'm so glad to be here today. On the menu, Nigeria Super Falcons will face the Three Lionesses of England on Monday in the round of 16. We shall also take a look at the new captaincy of Virgil van Dijk, and we are asking, does the cap fit him? Details of this and many more will be yours in our jiffy. Don't go anywhere. This is Sports Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network. We're back after now. And of course, joining me this evening to bring you stories across this sporting world is Jerry Daniels. Good evening and welcome to the show.
Yeah, good evening, Tempo. It's such a great experience to be here to witness this epoch-making event of sporting activities around the world.
And of course, it's a new one, so we'll have a whole lot to talk about here today.
Really a whole lot to talk about today. Such an exhilarating one for the Super Falcons.
I tell you, in the next couple of minutes, we shall have time to take a look at some of the big stories. But of course, let's start from the home scene here, where something big is about to happen. And of course, it's about the National Sports Festival. The Ogun State Governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun, has inaugurated the 16-man local organizing committee of the 22nd National Sports Festival to be hosted by the state next year. Abiodun also noted that the state is more than prepared to surpass previous editions and achievements recorded during the last festival that was held by the state in 2016. When the politicians speak, they speak like though everything is possible. They speak like they have the world in their hands. But I asked, the last time we saw Ogun State hosted truly was in 2016, during the era of Benga Dane. 2006, I beg your pardon, during the era of Benga Dane. And I'm wondering, can this surpass the feat? Because from 2006 and this time, it's a whole lot of time. I mean, a years, and this is the 22nd edition, and so we've seen Delta State hosted and created massive history. We've seen Edo State hosted; it was massive. Can Ogun State create something better than we've seen in the last two editions?
Well, the governor of Ogun State sounded optimistic about it, and Ogun State is a state in the west which we know they are rich in good culture, and for them, the governor has already spoken very well. It's within his ambit, and definitely they can actually do it if they put some infrastructures in place, some facilities that will be able to aid for the betterment of this competition. Though he has already spoken, and his own part he will play his own part.
I mean, this event will be highly next year. We've seen a lot of activities, going to this particular one. And for the first time in a very long while, we are seeing the sporting activity, the sporting federations, having activities. These days, you can talk about activities going on in hockey, Scrabble, chess, golf. I mean, not to talk about athletics, not to talk about the ones that we're already familiar with in Nigeria. Even boxing now, all massively because of the preparation next year. Now, how do you cope with having
the best talent so that whilst they go representing us there, they can actually get the result in which we want? We don't want to be on the losing side. We want to get the result in which is desired. That's why more and more time is being put in the practice process. Definitely we'll come out with a result.
Definitely we expect that in the coming days we'll get to know more about the man who is the local organizing committee has talked about the fact that he needs to, look at what is happening, and then he has also pledged his to bring everything possible to ensure that this comes to reality. And for me, I want to believe that it will really be a top notch sports festival. The Abeokuta is the headquarters of the state headquarters. Discovery, nurturing, breeding, and then exposure is part of the National Sports Festival.
Yes, it's very, very important, because when you discover a talent, you need to be able to breed this talent, give them a very good platform, nurture this talent in order to produce results. We can see where we have discovered the talent, but nurturing them, giving them the basics for them to be able to compete favorably with world athletes, then there is a very big problem when it comes to nurturing. So if we're able to assemble, we're able to discover them, which is step one. Step two, go over to nurturing and giving them the necessary exposure in which they need to compete favorably at the higher level. Then we can say the sky is just our starting point.
The sky, of course, definitely will be a starting point, but let's see. We'll get back to that cross to next year and see how Ogun State will really, wow us when the competition gets in the way. And I mean, this is what we talk about. Government is in continuum. We don't even have a sports minister as it stands now.
As it stands now,
but it looks like what Sunday Dare, the former minister, did is still. I mean, we're still reaping from the legacies of some of the things he has done.
We are still reaping favorably. We want to really commend the immediate past Minister of Sports and Youth, Sunday Dare. He has really set the foundation, and we are also being able to pick up from that, because if the foundation is laid and we are not able to build up, then the foundation is worthless. So Sunday Dare has already set up the foundation. So we also urge the incoming Minister of Sport and Youth Development to also build up from there to see the sporting industry in Nigeria progress from one level to another. We're getting there.
Certainly, we're getting there, and we hope that in the coming years, our sports here in Nigeria will be a brand that will really showcase the uniqueness and the unique heritage of our country. All right, let's move away from the National Sports Festival and let's talk about something beautiful. And then it's wrestling. A whole lot of preparation for next year's Olympics, and one of such preparation is the one that will take center stage from the 4th to the 10th of this month in Bayelsa State. The Wrestling Federation has expressed
Nigeria so that they will be able to compete favorably when it comes to other sports outside football. Football is the king of sports, yes, but we also need other sports needs to be carried along when it comes to this. I really commend the government of Bayelsa State, headed by Senator Doyodiri. He has really done very, very well. He has been able to invest hugely in the sport, and definitely they are going to get the results in which they need, because this is not just a fun fair activity. They are aiming high. They want to get to the echelon of this sport, and definitely as he has been able to reconvene a whole lot of them, certainly they will get the result in which they need.
We expect that they should get the result, but we're going to come down to that particular one. It's Friday this week, and so from Friday this week to next week Thursday, it will be top-notch activity at the indoor sports hall of the Samson Siasia Sports Complex in Yenagua, the Bayelsa State capital. And of course, we also hear that as a part of this one, the Honorable Commissioner for Youth and Sports, that doubles as the Federation President for Wrestling, Daniel Igali, is very optimistic that this qualifier will really, be one that will be memorable. And to know that this forthcoming qualifier, this particular classic is not just a classic, it's also a pre-season tournament ahead of the Serbia Wrestling Classic.
Yes, it's also a pre-season tournament that would usher us into the Serbia Classic next year. But when we look at it, this is a very, very fine and calculated move. Competition that is aimed at bringing out the best athletes. It begins at home, and definitely he has showcased it, and definitely will come up top notch.
Now, one thing that bothers me is the fact that Bayelsa State is the only state that has shouldered wrestling activity in the last 3 years.
Yes.
And I ask, we have 36 states and a federal capital territory. What are other states doing? Is it because we have the commissioner, the one who is the Federation President, Daniel Igali, and who also is the commissioner for youth and sports in the state? Is that why we're just having this? I mean, can't we have
the backbone of it all? Because if you lack sponsorship for a competition, I don't think the competition will be able to fly high. So the rigid and rigorous sponsorship by the immediate past governor and the present governor has really proven a thing. I want to also encourage other states across the Federation of Nigeria to also imbibe and buy into this idea. One thing about sport and sporting activities is sponsorship. If you lack sponsorship, then definitely you can never ride even in a good pedestal. But when you have sponsorship, the highest form of success is sure in that competition, because sponsorship brings about success to a higher degree, coupled with preparation. So when you have the sponsorship deal in place, you look at the resources that are available, then you can actually put up a fine show that will give you success. So I just urge all of them to gather up sponsors and kick off, get the ball rolling.
Within a week, we're going to have Datonye Alambo and Jackson Henane live here because both of them are sports journalists that will be covering live updates of the wrestling classic, from Bayelsa State, and of course we hope to get them, get more unveiling fact from Bayelsa, Agua, the capital of Bayelsa, especially the Sounds and Theatre Stadium. When this competition gets underway on Friday, certainly we'll be so delighted to have them here, join us via the Zoom platform to tell us more of what is happening, over there. But away from the classic now, let's move to basketball. And of course, the biggest basketball story that we have now is the fact that our female team, that is the Tigers of Nigeria, have qualified to the next stage of the senior female national basketball staging. They call it the Afro Basket in Africa, in the continent of Africa, and have qualified now to the next round. And they were playing either of Mozambique and Cote d'Ivoire. But if you look at our run so far, they defeated in the group stage. They defeated DR Congo, defeated Egypt. For Egypt, this is the third time now they have defeated them on a bounce. And for Nigeria, this just shows the intent that, come on, we have the pedigree to defend this title that we have won for 3 years now, and for 3 editions now. Yeah. So, but then we have a challenge. Cote d'Ivoire, Mozambique, we are yet to know, because Cote d'Ivoire will play against Mozambique, and one of them will now play against Nigeria. For Nigeria, we're already sure. But which of these will you hope to? Do you think that it calls for worry for us?
Well, if it's Cote d'Ivoire, it calls for little worry, but if it's Mozambique, it calls for no worry. But this is sports, this is sporting activities. We should never give a cold shoulder or relinquish the tactical prowess of the opposing side. What you need to do is just gather your house in place. Rena Wakama has been able to put in a fine performance by getting the victory against DR Congo and against the North African Giant. So for me, I think that if she's able to continue in this progress and also make good improvement when it comes to the squad for them to take on either the two sides that are going to be facing out today, then definitely they should be able to come out with those results. But I see them being able to come out with those results because Rena Wakama has been fantastically good in her selection, and she has been able to get the result over time. The little time she has put in place, she has been able to replicate those good old days and those good forms in which we know her for. So definitely they will get the result irrespective of the opponent. Also,
you think that there's no call for concern regardless of the opponent, and then for Rena Wakama, the lady you talked about, a lot of people still doubt that she can pull this. A lot of people still believe that we've not met bigger opponents. DR Congo, Egypt, they are not as strong as we should have expected. So a lot of people still feel that maybe when we start meeting the big names. But I asked myself, where are the big names? Cote d'Ivoire, Mali, the big names, Yeah. So I'm just thinking, maybe the North Africans. But yeah. I know for sure that even if we get to win this, yes, we don't make a statement that our team is formidable now to go and represent Africa at the world stage.
Well, if we go past this hustle and jostle, then definitely we are set to represent Africa in the world stage. And bet you, there are other big teams, other formidable teams in Africa that could have eased past Nigeria. I take Egypt as an example. But we're able to conquer Egypt, the North African giant. We're able to also conquer the Democratic Republic of Congo. So for me, I think that going through these stages, we are fit to compete at the world level. It's just a little touch of excellence, then definitely we're there.
With that, now we're going to quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk about football. A lot of stories popping out at this time in the world of football. I still have Jerry here, and of course, the both of us, we are going to do top business in the world of sport. This is Sports Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back from the short break. It's the Sports Extraordinary here on Atlantic Television Network, and it's time to talk football. We'll start from the home scene here in Nigeria. It's all about the Nigeria Premier Football League. After the inauguration of the board formally, Benga Legbele and his team are going to a consultative meeting with clubs to hold in the federal capital on the 3rd of August. That's on Thursday, and so from then, the meeting is geared towards discussing with the chairman of the clubs and also to align with them to know what next for the league. I asked, what next for the league, Jerry?
Yes, the league has been a very fantastic one in the last 2 seasons, and they have been able to draw out a very good plan on how the league will run, and football fans are really very much happy with it. If not for the abridged pattern they brought in that was not really conversant with football fans across Nigeria, but we are very, very much happy with the IMC headed by Benga Legbele. They have been able to do a much more improvement from this IMC, because he's now a substantive board, and definitely they have to swing into action within the shortest possible time to come up with the result. We really love the fact that they are meeting with other clubs, and we really acknowledge that move by the substantive chairman of the IMC, and definitely the blueprint is set. They are going to abide by it and get the result.
Of course, they are going to abide by it. We know that some teams have been promoted to the Nigeria Premier Football League, Sporting Lagos and Heartland from the south, while we have Katsina United and Kano Pillars, from the northern, conference. But then, look at, we're already counting down. They said, 26th of this month of August for the kickoff of the league 2023-2024 season. And then we're also thinking that with the strategic plan that they have, it looks like we're going to see something laudable, come next season. I'm talking about something laudable. That reminds me of a strategic partnership with a certain company that have sponsored the league last year, gave them 100 million naira for the winner, and that goes to Imba. This time around, they've said they're going to give 150 million naira to whosoever wins the league, and that means that there is a bigger share. They've gone beyond that to also see how far they can stream these games live, and as I speak with you right now, it's been confirmed that the streaming equipment have since arrived in Nigeria in preparation for next season. And when you talk about those streaming equipment, it means that manpowers will come in and they will be paid for it, more like generating employment within the ecosystem.
Yes, definitely, more like generating employment within the ecosystem. More manpower are going to be needed to mount the cameras, to handle some sophisticated studio equipment, which is very, very important. One thing about it is that we have not been seeing the NPFL on the screens of Nigerians regularly, but with this top-notch equipment, which has been able to improve the aesthetics of the league, definitely we're going to be seeing it on the screens of Nigerians across the homes of in Nigeria here. Because one thing about it is that we are not really ardent followers of the league because of the low in aesthetics. The cooperation is low, the exhibition is poor. But when we improve on all this and we make sure our security system is top-notch, then we can as well elicit views, not just in Nigeria alone, but around Africa, and will be rated amongst, if we mention 5 teams in Africa, at least Nigeria, 2-3 teams in the Nigerian Professional Premier League needs to be listed amongst them. So with this introduction of these top-notch facilities and equipment, definitely the league is aiming high.
Of course, the league should aim high. The partnership, and I know for sure that even more partners, we expect to see more partners coming to the league to brand different areas of the league, because when you are an interim body, it's different from when you are a board. And now that we have the board formally inaugurated, I think that more things will even have to come, and I'm sure the meeting is to also sell ideas. This is what we have as a dream. Benga Legbele and his board selling their idea to the chairman, because if you don't sell your idea to the chairman have a way of wanting to superimpose their ideas on you. So I think it's the right step in the right direction.
Yes, it's a right step in the right direction, because if you don't give your blueprint, if I don't show you,
take a move now away from the scene, and let's hope that in the coming days we get to hear formally. We're yet to hear formally from the Nigeria,
the IMC,
not IMC, the NPFL board.
Okay, the NPFL
board. That this is the authentic dates. Maybe from the meeting, we'll get to now know when the league will formally kick off. But we are hearing that 26th of this month, it should come on the way. But let's move away from that now and bring you some World Cup news. And of course, it's all about the female World Cup here, and that's the big thing. As it stands now, we, for courtesy of the games we have seen today, we can authentically, unveil or say that Nigeria will play against England. Before it was permutation as to whether we're going to be Denmark or England, but it looks like England is the team that we're going to play against. And when you look at the performance of England, they drew one game, won 2 games. Nigeria drew 2 games and won one. And so for
then definitely this team will be able to come out with the result certainly at the end of it. They are hard not to crack, as I earlier said, but we can actually go past them and perhaps progress past this level.
Netherlands thrashed Vietnam 7-0 in this today too, and looks like a very laughable scoreline. And then Portugal drew their game. Denmark also won their game. But this goes to show that it's getting hotter by the day.
Yes, it's getting hotter by the day. As we progress, you get tougher games, you get tougher opponents in which you face, and the competition gets thick and tough. So you need to buckle up, put in your fine performance, wear on your dancing shoes, because as the game progresses, going into the quarterfinals, the semi-finals, the game will be really, really thick, because remember, it's the FIFA Women's World Cup, and we're really, really anticipating more and more tough games at this point in time.
More and more tough games as time progresses. 6 to 7 points, Nigeria to be a tough cracker. Or can we go past them? Well, we keep our finger crossed and see how that one goes. But one thing striking is a lot of history has been made, a lot of records so far has been created, and so far, I think the highest scoring side now when it comes to, Netherlands have been very fantastic. Seeing them score 7 goals there, I think that's how far we can talk about. That's the number of, that's the highest win so far this year's FIFA Women's World Cup. Away from that now, let's move on and let's see how far what we have. A whole lot to talk about, but a lot of persons still believe that Nigeria can do it all. We are still believing that, but as it stands now, the Super Falcons have enough money. The teammates are sure of getting at least $90,000 equivalent to 68.7 million naira richer than they came into the World Cup.
Wow, that's really, really good money for them. This is just the tip of an iceberg in which FIFA has introduced to cushion the effect of training, practice, and weather conditions. To give you a few of them. Well, they have been able to get to this stage, and more awaits them if they go past this stage. But I want to really commend the FIFA for keeping to their promise and keeping to their word. You can see this is spice to the game, whereby this has to cushion the effect of the hard times they have been through, the rigorous processes of trainings they have been through, for them to give in their best. I really, really commend FIFA and the Super Falcons.
FIFA and should be commended for what they've been able to, the strategy and idea behind chinking in their funds directly into the account of the players rather than giving it to the federations, to pay them. But away from that, let's take a dive now to European club football in Europe, and the biggest news is that Virgil van Dijk has been appointed as captain of Liverpool following the departure of Jordan Henderson.
Well, we saw this coming from the rumors we heard from the departure of Jordan Henderson, and many people did not really see the captain armband going to Virgil van Dijk. Many people did not really see it. Many people were thinking it was Alisson Becker, the goalkeeper. I saw it too. But Klopp announcing that Virgil van Dijk is going to take over from Jordan Henderson, well, it's a fine performance, a fine show. I was expecting Alisson, as I said earlier, but Virgil van Dijk has displayed leadership quality up to an extent. So if he is the captain of this Merseyside, then certainly they can actually come up with a fine display when it comes to player attitude and gesture, because a captain controls the temperament of his team, the tempo of his team. So Virgil van Dijk is a good leader on and off the pitch, and definitely they can actually come
Yeah,
up with it.
I mean, a lot of person wondering. I mean, maybe he has the experience. Maybe he has not been long with Liverpool. But if you look at other captain, you know, the aura that they possess, the kind of leadership qualities and style, you know, that charisma. Do you think that Virgil van Dijk do have such coloration?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give him 6.5. Why I say so? When you look at the man Virgil van Dijk, a very good defender, very good athlete, a very good sportsman, but it doesn't translate to you into being a leader or a captain of a team. So when I look at Virgil van Dijk, I say, wow, he's good on and off the pitch. He can as well lead the team. But for me, my own option is Alisson Becker. On a scale of 1 to 10, I give him 8.5 because he is a leader. He organizes his defense from his own line down to the striker's position.
You know what makes a coach or a team part of the quality of a captain is not just about what happened in the field of play.
Yes.
Captains are choosing from their lifestyle in the pre-match trainings.
Sure.
Out of club activities, that's your home attitude and how over time, I mean, the qualities that you have. It is possible that Alisson Becker, yes, but he may not have those kind of flair in controlling. I mean, the doggedness of Virgil van Dijk as a defender breeds that natural respect for him. Maybe just maybe, but club find out how. I mean, what do we know? Is the coach decision?
It's the coach decision. Is the team decision? Just like you rightly said, Alisson Becker off the pitch may not really have this leadership quality, but Van Dijk has been able to balance the two.
Both.
So that's why he has been given the captain armband, and also Trent Alexander-Arnold, who is the vice captain. That's a good one for Liverpool.
But how do you think his first assignment will be? We're not going to play in the Champions League for the first time in over a very long
2016.
time. So how do they manage? How will he manage putting the team and pushing them to the limits to ensure that from where they crumbled last season?
Yes.
How do they push for the title and push beyond their limits to chase up with the clubs like Arsenal, Manchester City, and even Chelsea, inclusive of Tottenham Hotspur and Manchester United?
Yes, for them, they're not going to be playing in the Champions League. This last happened in 2016, and the introduction of Alexis McAllister, who wants to play in the Champions League, he came to the right club, because even though Liverpool will not play in the Champions League this season, they still have a comparative advantage to play in the Champions League next season. They have assembled some good names, and they still have some quality players in their squad, irrespective of the fact that Fabinho is gone, Milner is gone, Henderson is gone. But at least some replacements are there anyway to fill in their shoes. So for me, I think that Virgil van Dijk is able, with his leadership qualities and charisma, able to put this team together, make sure that they keep their head down, play through the Europa League in which they found themselves in this season, and also get the results in the EPL that can guarantee them a spot in next year's Champions League. And I see them doing well come this season and also next season when they find themselves, because I'm a huge supporter of Liverpool, even though I'm not a direct fan of them.
Okay, we'll keep our finger crossed and then let's move on. Manchester United will decide on Mason Greenwood's future at the club before their first Premier League fixture against Wolves. The last time this guy played was in January 2022.
Yes.
Because of his court issue, all that happened to him, he has not featured. And I'm thinking that at this point, the coach has come out to say that it's not in his power to say whether he's going to feature or not, because he met him, in that suspension, since he was charged with rape, engaging in controlling and the coercive behavior and assault. So since then, he hasn't featured. But if you are Mason Greenwood, a young lad with a bright future, unfortunately, got himself into this sort of situation.
In the Spanish league, maybe in the Italian league or in the Bundesliga, anywhere, find his feet, get back on track, get his form, and definitely the sky is just his limit. Mason Greenwood is such a fantastic player, I must commend.
Such a fantastic player, if you ask me, and we hope to see how far that plays out. But just breaking this evening is in transfer tracker. We hear that Chelsea have signed a teenager, Ugochukwu, on 7-year deal, and looks like Chelsea truly, want to get the best of the best in preparation for a new season. Leslie Ugochukwu has been signed by Chelsea, maybe part of the academy team.
Yeah.
I don't expect him to get to see first
team shirt.
Team shirt, but it's just one of those things that we'll get to see every day. But then let's move away from that now. Let's talk about some of the transfers that we have seen so far this season. And Liverpool player Fabinho finally has joined Al-Ittihad for Saudi Arabia. Looks like the Saudi guy is speaking the best of the best in Europe to their league.
Yes, they have also secured the services of N'Golo Kante and Karim Benzema earlier on, and now they are adding a touch of creativity to the midfield, with the Reds for Liverpool since 2018. Well, Saudi is just recruiting all these players, and we're wondering where they are heading to. But we don't get to see a situation whereby after they play one season or two, they have to retract back to to Europe. I see that is feasible. If you ask me, it's really feasible. But since they have acquired the services of Fabinho, that's not the problem for them. Fabinho is a very fantastic player. He's not a player Klopp would as well let go for any amount. He was an integral part of the team last season, playing some popular matches. To me, I think that it's a very good fit for Al-Ittihad. For them, it's a very good one.
And Jurgen Klopp has come out to say that that Saudi Arabia is closing on Europe when it comes to the transfer bidding, the activities, and the way they've gone about. But I think that this is just a one-off thing. I don't see it lasting. You remember one time it was about Qatar getting the finance of players down to Qatar. You know, it was Japan,
the J League.
Yeah, J League. You know, now it's Saudi Arabia, and I think it's not, no matter how far they go, they cannot showcase the nature of football we are seeing in Europe as point of competition.
Yes, one of their limits is because they are not in Europe, and they wouldn't play in the UEFA Champions League. That is the problem. So if they're not in Europe, they can't play in the UEFA Champions League, then the problem is enormous, because we won't have to see them in the UEFA Champions League, which is the league of elites. So come on, Saudi Arabia. Perhaps we'll just pray that the players do not retract back to Europe and continue their trade.
Of course, we hope to see that one, but a whole lot happening. As it stands now, 3 players that are still, that the future is still hanging in the dark is Kylian Mbappe, Victor Osimhen, and then Harry Kane. For Victor Osimhen, there may not be much issue because he has a club. Kylian Mbappe already is entangled in controversy. And then talk about Harry Kane. It's like Daniel Levy is saying, except I get a record fee, I won't let this guy go. So where do you stick your neck as to which player will move or which player will stay back in his club?
For me, Osimhen will stay in Naples.
With the amount of money pumping in?
No, Osimhen will stay in Naples. Osimhen will stay in Naples. He won't go anywhere. I trust it. Osimhen
because of Champions League football?
Yes, because of Champions League football. He's a young lad and he needs to play more. We need to give him time to showcase his quality.
This might not be the only time, for him to take it up.
No. Napoli are ready to keep Osimhen. But for Tottenham, they may be ready to offload Harry Kane. Kylian Mbappe is entangled in a lot of controversies. So when we look at it, let us put our money behind Osimhen. He's ready to stay in Napoli. He's really ready to stay. Harry Kane may not be leaving any moment soon, but I see him leaving Tottenham for Bayern Munich. But the Kylian Mbappe story, the controversy surrounding it, it's really a very big task, intertwined and twisted, that we can't really give an express definition to it. But certainly, we'll get to know the root of all this when time arrives.
Of course, we'll get to see how far that goes when the time comes. And I can tell you for sure that everything is set to make this happen. It's been a wonderful time with you, Jerry Daniels, for coming through today to be part of Sports Extraordinary. But we cannot leave without unveiling who this Sports Extraordinaire is this evening. And of course, it goes to no other but the Nigeria Premier Football League, for that strategic partnership that has ensured that we now have a streaming equipment even before the league starts.
Yes.
So we are sure that
high level of preparedness.
Yeah, massive preparation. We are sure that the MPFL next season we're going to have top-notch, viewership,
yes.
and if what we saw at the Super and followership, if what we saw at the Super 6 playoff and the Super 8 playoff is anything to go by, then we're expecting that Nigerians will have a first-hand feel of match